Top PPC managed services to boost your ROI. Introduction. PPC managed services are outsourced pay-per-click programs in which an agency or specialist handles your paid advertising end-to-end: strategy, keyword research, bid management, ad creative, landing page guidance, and continuous optimization across platforms like Google Ads, Microsoft Ads, and LinkedIn. The whole point is to turn paid advertising from an unpredictable money pit into a predictable revenue engine. And look, if you've ever watched your ad budget vanish into a black hole of clicks that never became customers, you're not alone. High CPC despite low competition, difficulty hitting target CPL, and Google Ads feeling expensive without clear ROI are almost universal pain points. If you're experiencing them, you're not alone. The good news? These problems are fixable, and that's exactly what good managed services exist to fix. In this guide, we'll break down what PPC managed services actually do, what they cost, what ROI to realistically expect, which platforms matter most for B2B, the mistakes that quietly drain budgets, and, most importantly, how to make sure all that paid traffic actually becomes booked meetings and closed deals. Let's get into it. What PPC managed services actually do. Let's clear up the confusion first. PPC managed services aren't just someone who pushes the buttons in Google Ads. A real managed program covers the full life cycle of a paid campaign. The key services you should always receive include campaign setup and clear goal alignment, deep keyword research, including negatives, compelling ad creative with A/B testing, automated plus manual bid management, and transparent reporting tied to ROI. Why does this matter so much? Because the gap between amateur and professional PPC is enormous. Fewer than 1 in 4 PPC ads ever convert. Skilled managers raise quality scores, lower cost per click, and boost conversion rates, delivering 6 times plus returns for many clients. Without expert oversight, most businesses overpay for traffic that never becomes revenue. Professional management flips the equation by aligning keywords, ads, and landing pages with buyer intent. The B2B difference. Here's where a lot of teams trip up. B2B PPC is a fundamentally different beast than B2C. B2C paid search is largely a direct response channel. Someone searches, clicks, buys. The attribution is clean, the sales cycle is short, and success correlates tightly with ROAS. B2B paid search works differently at every layer, with longer sales cycles. The average B2B sales cycle runs 4 to 6 months, and in enterprise SaaS, it can exceed a year. That long cycle changes everything about how you measure success. A B2C campaign can be judged in days. A B2B campaign needs months and a totally different set of metrics. The state of PPC in 2025-2026. Costs are up, stakes are higher. If you feel like PPC has gotten harder and more expensive, you're right. The data backs you up. The average cost per click in Google Ads in 2025 is $5.26. According to WordStream, that average CPC jumped 12.88% year over year, making it more expensive than ever for brands to stay competitive. And it's not just costs. 53% of PPC marketers believe it's harder than it was 2 years ago to manage campaigns, according to the State of PPC 2026 report. The key reasons: fewer audience insights due to the decline of third-party cookies and new privacy regulations. Reduced control over ad outcomes due to growing reliance on automated bidding, and an increasingly saturated market with highly competitive auctions. Here's the thing though, rising costs and complexity don't make PPC less worthwhile. They make expert management more worthwhile. When clicks were cheap, you could afford to be sloppy. Now every wasted dollar stings, which is precisely why managed services have become a profit lever rather than a nice-to-have. What about lead costs specifically? For B2B teams, cost per lead is the number that keeps you up at night. The average cost per lead in Google Ads in 2025 is $70.11. The industry with the lowest average CPL was automotive, repair, service, and parts at $28.50, while the highest were attorneys and legal services at $131.63, furniture at $121.51, and business services at $103.54. Don't panic at those higher B2B numbers. While these CPLs are on the higher end, it's important to keep in mind the value of a lead for these types of businesses. A business services lead could equate to a larger, higher value purchase as the lead moves through the B2B sales cycle. A $103 lead that closes into a $40,000 contract is a screaming bargain. The ROI reality, what to actually expect. Let's talk numbers, because boost your ROI means nothing without benchmarks. The baseline is well established. The average ROAS for Google Ads is around 200%, 2-to-1, meaning $2 earned for every $1 spent. Keep in mind that performance varies widely by industry. That can increase to $8 per $1 on the Google Search Network specifically. But here's the critical caveat for B2B. Those averages hide enormous variation. 2025 WebFX data on paid search shows ROAS ranging from 0.7, 70% in financial services, to 6.86, 686% in heavy equipment. Your industry, margins, and sales motion matter way more than any headline average. Calculate your own ROI. Don't trust the dashboard. The single best habit you can build is calculating ROI from the ground up instead of trusting Google's reporting. Treat benchmarks as starting points, then rebuild your ROI math from the ground up. ROI frequently close rate times LTV divided by the CPL. Here's a worked example to make it concrete. If close rate is 12% and LTV is $6,000, on a CPL of $132, ROI frequently 0.12 times 6,000 divided by the 132 minus 1, frequently 4.45 times, 345% net. Improve any one input, faster intake bumps close rate, better routing lowers CPL, and ROI jumps. Notice that 2 of those 3 levers, close rate and intake speed, happen after the click. That's a foreshadowing of why follow-up matters so much, which we'll get to. Conversion rates, B2B versus B2C. One stat every B2B marketer should tattoo on their forearm. The median conversion rate for B2B companies was 2.91%, and for B2C companies, it was 5.59%. B2B simply converts at a lower rate on the ad itself, which means your targeting, landing pages, and follow-up have to work overtime to make the economics sing. Choosing the right platforms, it's not just Google. Most teams default to Google and call it a day. That's leaving money and high-quality leads on the table. Google Ads, the intent capture machine. Google is still the foundation. Google search campaigns capture high-intent demand from buyers actively researching solutions through keyword strategy, match type management, negative keyword pruning, query mining, and ad copy testing, all calibrated to B2B intent signals rather than consumer purchase behavior. When someone Googles enterprise CRM pricing, they're telling you they're in market. You want to be there. LinkedIn, where the decision makers live. For B2B, LinkedIn is often the secret weapon. For B2B, LinkedIn often complements or outperforms Google for upper funnel awareness and retargeting. Sponsored content, message ads, and dynamic ads let you reach decision makers by company, seniority, and function, targeting that doesn't exist on the Google network. The quality difference is striking. LinkedIn ads achieve superior lead quality with 14 to 18% MQL to SQL conversion rates compared to Google's 7 to 12%. Fewer leads, but better ones, and in B2B, that's usually the trade you want. Microsoft Bing, the underrated ROI champ. Don't laugh at Bing. The data is genuinely surprising. Microsoft Bing Ads delivers 253% ROI, the highest among major B2B PPC platforms. Why? Microsoft's smaller advertiser base creates less auction competition, resulting in lower minimum bids and higher ad positions for equivalent spending. B2B service providers report consistent top 3 positions on Bing for keywords that only achieve positions 5 to 8 on Google despite identical quality scores. Plus, Microsoft Ads can provide lower CPCs while enabling advertising to a higher income audience, and it integrates with LinkedIn for profile targeting, making it an excellent platform for B2B ads. The smart allocation. So what's the right mix? Research points to a clear framework. The optimal 2025 B2B PPC budget allocation combines Google Ads 35 to 45% for high-intent search capture, LinkedIn Ads 25 to 35% for decision-maker targeting, Microsoft Bing 15 to 20% for cost efficiency, and Meta Platforms 5 to 10% for awareness. Adjust to your business, but the principle holds. Diversify and let each platform play to its strength. The optimization levers that actually move ROI. This is the part most generic PPC guides skip. Here's what separates a managed service that prints money from one that just burns it. 1. Feed your CRM data back into the platform. This is the single biggest lever in B2B PPC, and most teams never do it. The best setups pipe CRM disposition data, qualified versus disqualified, deal size, close rate by source, back into the ad platforms as offline conversions. This trains bidding algorithms on revenue signals rather than raw lead counts, a major performance difference over time. Think about what that means. Without it, Google's AI optimizes for most form fills, which might mean more students, job seekers, and competitors clicking. With it, the algorithm learns what a closed deal looks like and chases more of those. That's the whole ball game. 2. Get ruthless with match types and negatives. Stop hemorrhaging budget on broad match keywords. In B2B, a search for free CRM software is entirely different from enterprise CRM pricing. Stick to exact and phrase match types to ensure you are only paying for high-intent, commercially viable search queries. Negative keywords are wildly underrated. Here's a real example of how powerful they are. A client was showing ads for free plumbing consultations when they actually charged consultation fees. Adding free as a negative keyword improved their lead quality by 40% overnight. 3. Send traffic to dedicated landing pages. Dumping paid clicks on your homepage is a rookie mistake. 68% of PPC traffic goes to dedicated landing pages, not home pages, and speed matters enormously. Fast-loading pages improve PPC conversions by up to 37%. A clean, fast, single CTA landing page tied to the ad's promise can double your conversion rate without spending an extra dollar on media. 4. Lean into retargeting. B2B buyers almost never convert on the first visit. 92% of first-time site visitors do not convert without remarketing. Retargeting is your insurance policy. Retargeting ads increase conversion likelihood by 70% plus, and a strong agency builds retargeting audiences segmented by page visited, content consumed, and funnel stage, then serves different creative to prospects who looked at your pricing page versus your blog. 5. Use automation, but know when to override it. Smart bidding is powerful, but it's not magic. Platforms like Google Ads offer automated bid strategies, target CPA, target ROAS, maximize conversions that use machine learning to optimize bids at auction time. But these systems require sufficient conversion volume and correctly configured goals to work. A B2B agency knows when to trust automation and when to override it. That judgment is a big part of what you're paying for. How much does it cost, and what should you pay for? Let's talk money, because pricing transparency is rare in this industry. Typical agency pricing is 7 to 12% of ad spend, or $650 to $5,000 plus month, depending on complexity. For a real B2B specialist, expect the higher end. Budget $2,500 to $6,000 per month in management fees for a competent B2B specialist handling Google Ads and LinkedIn with proper attribution setup. Boutique or enterprise-focused agencies with deep industry experience will price above that range. That's on top of your ad spend itself. Small businesses typically spend between $1,000 and $10,000 per month on Google Ads. Pricing models to know. You can usually find PPC agencies that charge a fixed fee by results or as a percentage of your ad spend. There are pros and cons to each, so find which works for you. Alternatively, you can engage an agency that adopts a hybridized payment model. Whatever the model, clarify what's included in the cost. Is it a flat fee? Are there additional charges for specific services? How to choose a B2B PPC managed services provider. Not every agency that says, "We do B2B," actually does B2B well. Here's how to separate the real operators from the pretenders. Demand industry and B2B experience. B2B marketing focuses on getting the attention of business leaders rather than consumers. The right agency should know how to reach other businesses likely to become your customers and should have some knowledge of your industry. Check their website to see if they've worked with a competitor or a company in your industry before. Ask the questions that expose specialists. A few questions will instantly reveal whether an agency truly gets B2B. Ask them, how do you define a quality lead, and how do you build that definition into campaign optimization? How do you handle attribution for sales cycles longer than your standard conversion window? Can you walk me through how you've connected ad data to a CRM for a past client? What does your standard lead quality reporting look like? Not traffic metrics, but pipeline metrics. If they fumble these, keep looking. Find out who actually runs your account. This one bites people constantly. Investigate who manages your account. Make sure your strategist has real experience, not a junior coordinator or outsourced team with minimal oversight. And ask directly whether they do the work in-house, because you would be surprised how many PPC agencies actually outsource the PPC work to another agency, in which case you're just paying a middleman to manage your campaigns. Protect your account ownership. Non-negotiable. Your business should own the Google Ads account, conversion data, billing relationship, landing page data, and historical performance record. The agency can manage the work, but you should not lose account history if the relationship ends. Set realistic timeline expectations. Beware anyone promising overnight miracles. A successful PPC strategy, especially in B2B tech, takes 2 to 3 months to show measurable results, and it typically needs at least 6 months to really hit its stride. Patience is key, but so is having the right agency to drive results. This is reinforced by the data. PPC campaigns that run 90-plus days consistently outperform new campaigns by 27 to 60% due to optimization time. How this applies to your sales team. Here's the part nobody likes to say out loud. PPC managed services generate leads, but they don't close deals. And in B2B, the gap between a form fill and a closed contract is where most revenue gets lost. Think back to that ROI formula. ROI, approximately close rate times LTV divided by CPL. Your agency can lower CPL all day long, but close rate and speed to lead live entirely on the sales side. Faster intake bumps close rate, and better routing lowers CPL. Improve any one input and ROI jumps. The best PPC program in the world produces garbage ROI if leads sit in a queue for 3 days before anyone calls. This is also why the modern B2B buying journey breaks single-channel attribution. That is not how B2B buying works in 2026. The real buyer journey looks more like this. A VP sees your brand mentioned in a LinkedIn post. 2 weeks later, another person at that same company watches your thought leader ad. And a month after that, someone on the buying committee Googles your product name and clicks your search ad. B2B buying cycles stretch to 272 days on average, involve 10-plus stakeholders, and span channels that no single platform calculator can capture. So what should your sales team actually do with PPC leads? 1. Build a speed-to-lead engine. Every form fill should trigger near-instant outreach. Speed is one of the few levers that reliably moves close rate. 2. Layer in persistent multi-touch follow-up. Since 92% of first-time site visitors don't convert without remarketing, assume the same about your leads. One call and one email won't cut it. Sequence calls, emails, and touches over weeks. 3. Treat PPC as top of funnel, not the whole funnel. Paid ads capture demand from people already searching. Your outbound motion, cold calls, cold email, reaches the decision makers who haven't raised their hand yet. Run both. 4. Close the data loop. Feed which leads closed back into both your ad platforms as offline conversions and your follow-up playbook. The whole system gets smarter when sales and marketing share signals. The takeaway: PPC and outbound aren't competitors. PPC fills the top of the funnel with inbound intent. A disciplined SDR motion converts that intent, plus proactively generates demand that ads never reach. Run them together and you've got a pipeline machine. Conclusion plus next steps. PPC managed services can absolutely boost your ROI. The data shows a 200% baseline that skilled management routinely pushes to 6 times or more. But in 2025-2026, with average CPCs at $5.26 and more than half of marketers saying campaigns are harder to manage than 2 years ago, the margin for sloppiness is gone. Expert management isn't a luxury anymore. It's the difference between profit and a slow budget leak. For B2B specifically, remember the 3 things that matter most. Optimize for qualified pipeline, not clicks. Feed CRM data back into the platforms and bid on revenue signals. Diversify your platforms. Google for intent, LinkedIn for decision makers, Bing for cost efficiency. Don't stop at the click. PPC generates leads. Fast, persistent human follow-up turns them into meetings and deals. Here's your action plan for this week. Audit your current PPC numbers. Connect your ad platforms to your CRM with offline conversion import. Tighten your negative keyword list and, critically, stress test your follow-up process. How fast does your team respond to a new lead? How many touches before they give up? Those answers will tell you whether you're capturing the ROI your ad budget deserves or letting it dribble away after the click. Because at the end of the day, a click is just a click. A booked meeting is revenue. Build the engine that turns one into the other and watch your ROI take care of itself.